what is pyrography? Pyrography is the form of using a pen that heats up. It has a metal tip to it, and it connects to a machine, and the machine turns on and it has different dials on it, and you can determine how hot anything you want to burn on. Hola, bienvenido a mi estudio de arte. Welcome to my art studio. My name is Tanya Herrera. I am a pyrography artist in San Francisco, California. I'm here in my studio. This is my desk where I do all of the very important thinking and planning and doing burning of things. I started off with wood about almost 12 years ago, and now I have progressed onto leather and animal bone, as well as I've used different forms of heat art. What is heat art? Well, heat art is in sort of it's a self-described thing, because I wouldn't say that even pyrography is a very common medium. I forcibly had to categorize myself, and I just said heat art because it's kind of more of a general term, and then that way I can feel freely to move about. Considering I definitely have a hard time kind of pinning myself down. So this is a leather piece right here. It is a molded leather, so it's molded like a skull. And that's when I really started fleshing out my Costa Rican designs. So I am a first generation Costa Rican American, so I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, but my parents were born and raised in Costa Rica, and we would travel back and forth. So a lot of my designs are based off of those Costa Rican designs, which are based off of Costa Rican ox cart designs. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is something that I would see very commonly when I was a kid and I would travel back and forth to Costa Rica with my family. I thought it was amazing that whoever made this piece took a little piece of metal and mimicked the color, the swirls, the curlicues that are in most of the ox cart designs, by twisting a piece of metal, heating it up, and stamping it on this piece of wood. So I was more intrigued by that. Surprise, surprise, here I am, a pyrographer who likes to burn on things. My artistic abilities, I feel, have been funneled through my other family members. I feel I have a little bit of each of them. My grandfather is a carpenter and knows all about wood. My mother is more of a businesswoman. My father was an industrial engineer, and I got my ability to be able to think about things in a 3D format. My sister went to the Academy of Art in San Francisco and is a fine artist, and I was always enthralled by all of the items and homework that she had when she brought home anything new. My brother used to be very much into comic books when we were younger, and kind of switched his focus once he got a guitar to music, and was always a heavy influence on me when it comes to what it was that I was listening to, and creatively, musically, I guess you'd say. I was really thankful for my ability to be able to inherit so much from my family, and I'm really glad that raised in two different places, such as Costa Rica and the Bay Area, that made me able to really embrace my artistic side. So the other heat art that I do, what is heat art? Anything that involves heat. So this type of work is drawn on by hand. It's a one-shot deal, so I can't sand it down, I can't undo it, I can't wash it off. It's a chemical process, so I draw it on similar to with paint, but when it's painted on, it's clear. It dries clear, and I apply a heat to it, and it combusts on the surface, creating what you see here. And then the other form of heat art is, I call them my rebellious teenagers, because their most recent medium is heat molding vinyl records. So vinyl records, as many of you know, usually are used to play music. I somehow came about a whole box of records in my old studio space that was in the common space that nobody wanted. I was then at the same time involved in a show that was specifically vinyl. So it was an all vinyl show. All of the pieces of art had to be on vinyl. And I decided, instead of doing what I normally had done in the past, which was stencil work, to involve more of my newer medium, heat, mixing that with the crafting that many people know about, which is you can take a vinyl record and make it into a bowl with your oven at home. And so I decided, you know, to push my comfort zone and my boundaries, and I ended up what I call a pressure cooker moment, coming up with the idea to heat mold vinyl records into skulls. And then once the skull was shaped onto the vinyl, then I would cover it with gold leaf. The biggest skull that I have ever done, and as you can see, it is gold leafed on the inside. These designs that you see here, all these little curls and the flowers, I mean, it's my interpretation, but basically a lot of what my patterns and designs are derived from is my Costa Rican heritage. So my Costa Rican heritage is something that was kind of in the backside when I first started making art, and then once I started working with bone and really learning how to delve into pyrography, I guess you could say, burning, is when I started fleshing out these designs, and it happened to coincide with bone. I can't possibly imagine my life without art. What does art mean to me? It means everything. It's like the blood in my veins, the oxygen in my lungs, the water sustaining my body. If I didn't have art, I probably wouldn't be alive. There's been some moments where I was motivated strictly by getting up and making art. I know that I'm not the only one. Many other artists use it not only as a way to create things that people enjoy and as a living, but as therapy. We look to our art medium and our supplies as our best friends sometimes. You know, they're the one thing that for sure are never going to let us down. Loop back to the Bay Area. Why come back here? Because it was my dream as a kid. I grew up here, and San Francisco in the 90s was the epicenter of art. It was, you know, the 80s and 90s I felt like was an amazing wave of artistic creation in San Francisco, and it was before a lot of artists were pushed out of the city and could still afford to live here while working, you know, a side job. I felt it was my duty to come back as a Bay Area native, as an artist, as a woman of color. Say maybe a large society overlooks artists in general, and even more so overlook women of color who work as artists. It's changing. Everything is changing, as most people know. I just wanted to be part of that change.